Lin Yi was having one of those days. First, his manager had yelled at him, demanding results he couldn't deliver. "I'm not doing it," Lin Yi had shouted back, finally reaching his breaking point. And just when he thought the day couldn't get worse, his girlfriend Lily broke up with him in a text. "Let's break up. Don't bother coming to my birthday party and never contact me again." What? Lin Yi stared at his phone in disbelief. She'd said something about him looking like a poor man, about not wanting to waste her youth with him. It was brutal. What a day, he muttered to himself. Fired and dumped within hours. Life couldn't possibly get any worse. But just then, something strange happened. "Welcome to the full career experience system," an unfamiliar voice echoed in his head. Lin Yi blinked, confused. A system? What system? He hadn't signed up for anything. Yet, here it was. This voice promising him a chance to experience a new career every week, each time with a chance to win outrageous rewards. And the rewards? Wow. A Pagani wind chilo worth 300 million yuan, ownership of a luxury hotel, 10 million yuan wired straight into his bank account. Haha, is this real? Lin Yi couldn't believe it. It felt like a dream, like some cheat code had been activated in his life. The voice, sounding calm and robotic, kept talking, telling him to claim his new car and the hotel. All he had to do was go pick them up. He hurried to the underground parking lot. Area 22, the system had said. Lin Yi was still in a daze as he walked toward what should have been an ordinary parking spot, but there it was, a gleaming Pagani, a car he never even dared to dream of owning. "Is this for real?" he whispered, touching the car's sleek surface. As if on cue, a beautiful woman from his office, Miss G, appeared, looking concerned about her car not starting. "Need a ride?" Lin Yi asked casually, trying to suppress the giddiness in his voice. Before Miss G could respond, another colleague, Lee Yunhan, sauntered over in his flashy sports car, oozing arrogance. "A small employee like you can't drive a car like that. Come with me, Miss G. I'll give you a ride in style." Lee smirked. Lin Yi felt the heat rising in his chest. Not this guy. Lee was the office creep, always hovering around the women, showing off his money. Lin Yi clenched his fists but kept his cool. "Actually, my car is right in front of Area 22. It's ready to go," he said. Miss G looked skeptical, but curious. Then her eyes widened in disbelief as Lin Yi unlocked the Pagani with a beep. "Wait, this is yours," Miss G stammered, eyes darting from the car to Lin Yi. Lee Yunhan, meanwhile, was standing frozen, his mouth hanging open. "No way," he exclaimed. "This car cost 300 million yuan. There's no way you own this." Lin Yi just smiled and shrugged, enjoying the moment. "Surprised? I'm not just a small employee, you know. I'm a rich second generation just here to experience life for fun," he said, throwing out the kind of line that would have sounded ridiculous. But now, standing next to his multi-million yuan car, it had a whole new weight. As they drove off, leaving Lee Yunhan sputtering in disbelief, Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. "Well, that's one way to get back at life," he thought, feeling the engine purr under his fingers. And just when he thought things couldn't get crazier, the voice chimed in again. "Congratulations, host, for completing your first task. You have been rewarded with 50,000 proficiency points and 5,000 million yuan." Lin Yi almost swerved off the road. 5,000 million yuan, he muttered. Was this really happening? His life, it seemed, had just flipped upside down. Lin Yi stood outside the Peninsula Hotel, taking a deep breath. It was a 5-star establishment, one of the top hotels in China. Celebrities often held their weddings and extravagant parties here. He'd never imagined setting foot in a place like this, let alone owning it. Inside, his ex-girlfriend, Cece Liu, was chatting with her new boyfriend, Yunji. The two were planning a birthday party, clearly impressed by the hotel's lavish reputation. "A private room here is only 70,000 to 80,000 yuan, Yunji said casually, as if that was pocket change. Cece leaned on him, gazing up with admiration. "I wish I had met you earlier," she said sweetly, but then she spotted Lin Yi walking through the lobby. "Isn't that Lin Yi?" she asked, her expression quickly turning sour. She walked over to him, eyes narrowing. "What are you doing here, Lin Yi? Don't think coming to a place like this is going to win me back," she sneered. "You can't afford to spend money here. This is a 5-star hotel, not some place for someone like you." Yunji smirked, chiming in. Yeah, this is way out of your league. Security, kick this beggar out. Lin Yi almost laughed. He could sense their arrogance, the satisfaction they took in belittling him. Just as the security guard approached, one of the hotel staff hurried over, eyes wide with respect. Mr. Lin, you're here. The conference room is ready, and we need to report to you about our work. Cece and Yoonji froze, their mouths hanging open. Wait, what? Cece stammered, disbelief written across her face. You own this place? Lin Yi gave her a small smile. Yeah, I do, he said, enjoying the moment. Excuse me, I've got some business to take care of. As he walked away, he could hear Cece whispering frantically to Yoonji. What's going on? Did we miss out on a rich man, Mai? In the conference room, Lin Yi skimmed through the hotel's financial statements, listening to the manager's report on their progress. He trusted them to handle things, so he gave a few approving nods, then waved them off. Keep doing what you're doing, he said, acting cool and detached. Just then, a manager rushed in. Mr. Lin, we have a situation. A guest from room 1704 is filing a complaint. She requested a Mercedes for her car rental, but it was borrowed by a VIP. She's not accepting the replacement vehicle. Lin Yi nodded, standing up. I'll handle it. When he approached the guest, a striking woman named Gu Jing, she looked him up and down, clearly surprised. You're the one in charge here, she asked, a bit thrown off by his looks. Lin Yi flashed her a reassuring smile. Yes, we'll make sure everything is sorted out. If you don't mind, how about I lend you my Pagani for the day? Her eyes widened. Your Pagani? She hesitated, clearly stunned by the offer. I can't afford to rent something like that. Lin Yi waved off her concerns. No need to rent. How about I just drive you to where you need to go? Gu Jing blushed, caught between embarrassment and excitement. I mean, if it's not too much trouble, she muttered. Not at all, Lin Yi replied smoothly. I'll wait while you change. As Gu Jing left to prepare, Cece and Yoonji were still lingering nearby, watching everything unfold. Yoonji, you should leave, Cece hissed, nervous that Lin Yi might see her. I don't want him to get the wrong idea. Yoonji scoffed. Do you really think Lin Yi cares about you now? Look at him. But Cece, always confident in her manipulations, smiled to herself. I've been with him for years. He'll forgive me once I show a little regret. He can't just forget about me like that. Her friend, clearly envious, sighed. You're so lucky. I wish I could find someone like that. Don't worry, Cece said, flashing a smug grin. Once Lin Yi takes me back, I'll take you out for a ride in his Pagani. But as Lin Yi walked out with Gu Jing by his side, Cece's smugness began to falter. Maybe Lin Yi wasn't going to look back at all. Lin Yi stood still, staring at Cece as she clung to his arm, her desperation barely masked by a pleading tone. Does it even matter to you who she is? She asked, her voice trembling. After so many years, do you really not love me anymore? Have you forgotten everything we had together? She glanced towards the woman standing next to Lin Yi, eyes filled with jealousy. Even if she has a better body than me, her skills can't compare to mine. Before Lin could even respond, the woman smirked. How do you know my skills aren't as good as yours? She said with a raised eyebrow. Besides, he just told me I'm better than his ex in every way. Cece's face flushed with anger, and she took a step closer. I'm willing to be your lover, Lin Yi, for the sake of what we had. You still love me, don't you? Lin Yi's expression hardened. Love you? What exactly do I love about you? His voice was cold now. Do I love that you never wash your hair? Your poor figure? Or maybe it's your vanity and constant cheating? Cece's eyes filled with tears as he waved her off, his patience long gone. Get lost, Cece. You disgust me. Without waiting for a response, Lin Yi turned to his companion. We should go. I promised we'd make it to the Fairview Hotel for the wedding. His companion smiled warmly. I'm really sorry for the trouble. Lin shook his head. Don't worry about it. You helped me out too. They both walked away, leaving Cece standing there, speechless and broken. At the Fairview Hotel, some old classmates were already gossiping about Jingshu, another girl from their circle. She said her new boyfriend bought her a Mercedes. One of them sneered. But come on, what kind of rich guy could she even meet in her social circle? Another chimed in. Yeah, when we go out, none of the guys bring her along. She's probably just making stuff up to feel better about herself. But then, one of the girls rushed in with some news. I just saw Jingshu's boyfriend outside. He drives a Pagani. Can you believe that? Meanwhile, back at Lin Yi's old apartment, his landlady, Sister Wu, was anxiously pacing. He owes me 10 days of rent. What if he runs off without paying? Her daughter, Jing Jing, tried to calm her down. Mom, it's only a few days. Lin Yi's not that kind of person. But Sister Wu wasn't having it. You better not be thinking about him. He's a wage earner, not someone you should be involved with. You're going to be a civil servant. You can't waste your time on someone like him. Lin Yi arrived at the apartment, ready to pack up his things. Sister Wu, I'm here to pay the rent and move out. I wanted to say goodbye. The landlady was taken aback. Pay the rent? She asked, surprised when he transferred way more than she expected. Why so much? I've been behind on rent for a while, and I'm embarrassed about it, Lin Yi said calmly, handing over the full amount. He didn't bother explaining how things had changed for him financially. As he packed up his stuff, Jingjing stood nearby watching in disbelief. Lin Yi, where's your old cherry? Why don't I see it anymore? He gave her a small smile. That car's done. I'm replacing it with something else. Her eyes widened when she saw the sleek supercar parked outside. That's yours? She asked, barely able to process the sudden change. Lin Yi shrugged casually. No more pretending. The whole wage earner thing? Just a way to experience life. In reality, I'm a second-generation rich kid. Jingjing's mother scolded her before she could say anything more. You better not get any ideas. He wasn't good enough for you before, and now you're not good enough for him. As Lin Yi drove away in his Pagani, the landlady and her daughter were left stunned, watching the car disappear into the distance. When he arrived at the hotel later that evening, the staff rushed to greet him. Mr. Lin, the presidential suite is ready. Shall we take your things up? Yeah, go ahead. And could you prepare some food? I'm starving. Sitting down in his luxurious suite, Lin Yi finally relaxed, enjoying the 5-star meal in front of him. The events of the day played through his mind. Cece's desperate attempts, the shock of his old neighbors, and now, here he was. Life had certainly taken some strange turns. Just as he finished, his phone buzzed. It was a call from Jingshu, confirming their next plans. I'll be there in 30 minutes, Lin Yi told her, leaning back and smiling. Things were finally starting to fall into place. Lin Yi had once been the golden boy at the company, diligently working his way to the top. He'd even managed to become the sales champion, the kind of guy everyone thought was untouchable. But then, out of nowhere, he was dismissed. People whispered about how it didn't make sense, how someone so serious about their work could just be let go. There had to be something more going on behind the scenes. As Lin Yi mulled over his sudden change in fortune, a soft, playful voice interrupted his thoughts. Master, this girl looks pretty good, said a voice in his head. It was the system that had become a part of his life, always there, rating people and situations. It had given the woman nearby an 85-point score. The system chimed again, congratulating him for receiving another task, transporting 2 beautiful women, both rated above 85 points. Lin Yi smirked, knowing that even amidst all the chaos, the system always kept things interesting. Later that day, he found himself driving alongside Ji Qingyan, a strikingly beautiful woman who also happened to be the president of Sunrise Group. She sighed deeply, clearly stressed about an upcoming company event. The company wants to hold a launch event soon, but every 5-star hotel in the city is fully booked. I don't know how we're going to pull this off. Lin Yi, ever the optimist, glanced at her. Why don't you check out the Peninsula Hotel? It's one of the top places in Zhonghai, and they should have space. Ji Qingyan laughed, shaking her head. The Peninsula? Don't be ridiculous. It's a super 5-star hotel I've tried calling. There's no way to book it. Life is full of surprises, Lin Yi said with a grin. You didn't expect to run into me today, did you? Who knows? Maybe the Peninsula will have an opening. She gave him a skeptical look, but finally caved. All right, let's go check it out. But if this doesn't work, you're paying for my wasted time. And if I manage to get it booked? Lin Yi teased, glancing over at her. Ji Qingyan paused for a moment. Fine. If you somehow manage to book it, I'll do 10 S squats. S squats? Lin Yi asked, confused. She smirked. Look it up. After a quick search on his phone, Lin Yi chuckled. That's a bit bold for a president, don't you think? Before they knew it, they had arrived at the Peninsula Hotel. Ji Qingyan walked confidently to the front desk and asked to speak to Manager Wang. The staff quickly directed her to the parlor, where the manager would meet them. As they waited, Ji Qingyan couldn't help but think how absurd this was. There was no way such a high-profile venue would be available. Yet, a few minutes later, Manager Wang himself appeared, greeting them warmly. Miss Ji, I've already looked into the schedule, he said. The venue is available, and we'd be happy to host your company's event. Ji Qingyan's jaw dropped. Really? That's amazing! I can't believe it. We'd like to hold the launch in 10 days. Is that possible? Manager Wang nodded. Absolutely. We'll take care of everything. Lin Yi leaned back with a satisfied grin, watching Ji Qingyan struggle to process the unexpected win. I told you life's full of surprises. She turned to him, eyes wide with disbelief. You were right. I don't know how you did it, but thank you. He raised an eyebrow. Now, about that bet. You owe me 10s squats. Ji Qingyan rolled her eyes but smiled, clearly a little flustered. I can't believe you remembered that. Fine, I'll honor my word, but not here. Let's go home first. Lin Yi couldn't help but tease her. Who says we can't settle this in the car? Absolutely not, she laughed, turning the key in the ignition. Let's just get back. You're impossible. They drove off, Lin Yi feeling triumphant while Ji Qingyan tried to compose herself. The day had taken some unexpected turns, but for both of them, it was far from over. Lin Yi was caught off guard when he saw his girlfriend's father standing in the doorway, looking less than pleased. Dad, what are you doing here? She stammered. Shouldn't I be here, or should I be crawling under a car somewhere? Her father shot back sarcastically, eyeing Lin Yi with suspicion. No, you've misunderstood. He's my new yoga instructor, she said, trying to explain away the awkward situation. Her dad wasn't buying it. Yoga instructor? So now yoga instructors just lay on the floor? Really? Do you think I was born yesterday? Dad? He's a more advanced instructor. He mostly gives verbal guidance, it's not hands-on, she added, trying to steer the conversation in a less accusatory direction. Her dad waved her off, still focused on Lin Yi. Enough. Stand over there, I have a few words for him. Turning to Lin Yi, he gave him a once-over. So, what do you do, young man? Lin Yi chuckled to himself, sensing where this was going. Oh, you know, driving sports cars. The older man's eyes narrowed, but his tone turned more playful. Oh, really? What kind of sports car would a yoga instructor need to drive to keep up with my daughter? Actually, I'm driving the limited edition Pagani parked outside, Lin Yi said casually, with a hint of a smirk. The dad's eyebrows shot up in surprise. The Pagani? Well, you're a step up from the usual riffraff. At least I know my daughter's in good hands. Lin Yi chuckled, amused by how quickly the conversation had flipped, but just as he was about to relax, the father turned to his daughter. You know, your grandfather's 80th birthday is coming up. Why don't you bring your yoga instructor to meet the family? It'll be good for everyone to see him. Before she could protest, he added, All right, I'll leave you two alone. Don't let me dampen the mood. With a quick nod, he left, leaving them both standing there in the awkward silence. He misunderstood us, she said, turning to Lin Yi with an embarrassed smile. Lin Yi couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, this misunderstanding was pretty massive. Before she could reply, Lin Yi's phone buzzed. Looks like I've got a farewell dinner with some old colleagues. They want to send me off. She sighed, giving him a playful nudge. All right, go. But don't keep me waiting too long, you rascal. Later that evening, Lin Yi walked into the restaurant where his former co-workers were gathered. They had reserved a seat for him, but the atmosphere was oddly competitive. Lin Yi, you were too impulsive to quit, one of his colleagues, Wang Ying, remarked. With your performance, you could have easily been promoted to sales director. Another voice, this time from Huang, chimed in, Don't listen to her, Lin Yi. It's not a given that the sales director role would have been yours. Li, one of his better friends, scoffed. Come on, Huang. We all know Lin Yi's performance was leagues better than yours. The director's position should have been his. Does it matter? It's the same as being fired, Huang snapped. And rumor has it that Dong's appointment as director is just around the corner. Let's toast him instead. Dong, clearly uncomfortable, waved them off. Don't make it about me. Lin Yi is the star today. I'm not trying to take the spotlight. Lin Yi watched the exchange with mild amusement, feeling like the dinner had less to do with sending him off and more with showing off. He raised his glass. Why do I feel like you two aren't here to see me off, but to rub it in? His colleagues laughed awkwardly, deflecting the comment. But one couldn't help but ask, So, what's next for you, Lin Yi? The big city isn't easy. Maybe you should head back to the countryside? Countryside? Another colleague scoffed. He's an orphan. He doesn't have a home to go back to. Lin Yi smiled to himself, quietly absorbing their comments. He had bigger plans than they could ever imagine. Lin Yi leaned back in his chair, glancing at his phone. So, I'm pretty familiar with the property manager in our community. Why don't you come over to my place and help me check out the door? His friend laughed, waving him off. Don't worry about my work. I'm ready to leave. Besides, I drove here, so no drinking tonight. Just then, a waiter came up looking a bit nervous. Excuse me, who owns the Pagani wind chill downstairs? Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. What about the Pagani? The waiter fumbled for words. There's really a Pagani parked outside, and man, it's insane. That car's worth over 20 million. I need to notify the owner to move it. It's blocking other cars. Wang Ying, seated across from Lin Yi, couldn't resist a jab at another guy sitting nearby. Dude, people are talking about the Pagani, not your busted old Charlie. Lin Yi gave a casual smile, sipping his drink. That Pagani is mine. Guess that means I should move it. Wang Ying's eyes widened in disbelief. Wait, really? You're an orphan. Where'd you get the cash for a car like that? Lin Yi shrugged, his smirk never faltering. What? Orphans can't have money? Rat's eye thinking, my friend. He stood, ready to leave. Sister Ying, I'll send you back. Wang Ying hesitated, but eventually nodded. All right. But wait. She suddenly stopped, turning to the rest of the table. Excuse me, everyone. Lin Yi waved it off. Don't worry about it. You're going to be the director soon. You don't have to take care of this. Another coworker piped up, clearly still trying to wrap his head around the situation. Lin Yi, man, we've worked together for so long, and I had no idea you were loaded. Lin Yi shrugged again, more nonchalant than ever. It's family inheritance. I don't usually show off unless I have to, you know? He chuckled, enjoying the moment. Sister Ying, clearly intrigued now, leaned forward. Wait, is it true you're really running blah blah? I'm not pulling your leg, Lin Yi said with a grin. Want to place an order to support the business? Sister Ying laughed. Well, since you asked so nicely. Before they could continue, Lin Yi's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, noticing something odd on his app. A scan had just been completed, and it rated Sister Ying with a score of 84. She was just shy of the required 85 to complete his current task. Wow, Lin Yi muttered half to himself. Sister Ying is so beautiful, though. How could she fall short? Sister Ying, noticing his distraction, tilted her head. What's wrong, Lin Yi? You seem a bit out of it. Oh, it's nothing, Lin Yi replied, shaking his head. Just thinking out loud. Improving charm isn't as easy as I thought, huh? Sister Ying laughed again. What? Are you asking me how to make women more charming? Lin Yi grinned. Maybe I am. With a playful smirk, she leaned in closer. You really want to know what I do? Sure, Lin Yi replied, playing along. How about it? She stood, striking a playful pose. Well, how does it look? Lin Yi tapped the scanner on his phone, letting it do its thing. The result came back quickly. 85. She finally met the mission requirements. Mission complete, Lin Yi muttered under his breath, his grin widening. He had been awarded a villa at Gilsugaku of all things. Sister Ying nudged him. What's that look for? You didn't even say anything? Oh, nothing, Lin Yi replied, already thinking ahead. Sister Ying gave him a sly smile. I'm home now. Want to come up and talk? My husband's out of town tonight. Lin Yi glanced at his phone again, checking the time. Unfortunately, I've got something else to do tonight, but maybe next time when your husband's still not home. She pouted playfully. I hate it when you tease. Lin Yi chuckled. Next time. As Lin Yi walked away, heading towards his Pagani, his mind was already shifting to the next part of his day. He had to visit the sales department at Gilsugaku after all. Lin Yi was just minding his own business when he suddenly heard someone shout his name. Lin Yi, what are you doing here? He turned to see Jung Meng-yu, a former colleague, storming toward him, her expression a mix of surprise and indignation. I'm here to see your manager and pick up my real estate license, Lin Yi replied casually, keeping his cool. Meng-yu scoffed. You? A real estate license? Lin Yi, stop. These properties cost more than 800 million. Which set do you think you can afford? She crossed her arms, clearly not buying it. What are you doing here? Get out of here. I'll deal with you later. Just as the tension started to rise, manager Wang Hui appeared from around the corner, looking professional and composed. Mr. Lin Yi, right? He asked with a polite smile. I'm manager Wang Hui. Should I show you the property first, or would you prefer an overview of the estate? Before Lin Yi could respond, Meng Yu cut in, her voice sharp. Manager Wang, don't waste your time. Lin Yi's just an old orphan colleague of mine. He can't afford one of our villas at Kyushu Court. Wang Hui's smile faltered for a moment. He turned to Meng Yu, his tone firm. What are you talking about? Go to the HR department, settle your salary, and don't let me see you here again." Meng Yu looked flustered. "I'm not making this up. I know him, know everything about him." Wang Hui shot her a glare. "You don't know anything. Mr. Lin bought 9 villas at Kyushu Court, and you're standing here claiming he's your colleague? Are you satisfied now?" Meng Yu's jaw dropped. "He bought *9* villas?" Lin Yi couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. Wang Hui, trying to salvage the moment, quickly added, "Mr. Lin, I apologize for her behavior. She's clearly been under a lot of stress lately, not in the best mental state. I hope this didn't sour your experience." Lin Yi waved it off, grinning. "It's fine, you've already fired her, so no harm done. Anyway, the formalities for my houses should be completed by now. Could I get the real estate licenses?" Wang Hui immediately presented him with a folder. "All ready, Mr. Lin. Here are the titles and keys to the 9 villas. Please keep them safe." Just as Lin Yi was about to leave, another colleague approached him with some juicy news. "Hey Lin, I heard from HR that both Yu Lili and Li Jiangdong were fired." Lin Yi looked surprised. "No way. I just left and they got fired that fast? That's some speed. Comparable to a fire, huh?" The colleague grinned knowingly. "Could it be you had a hand in firing them?" Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. "Me? I don't know anything about it. Maybe the boss was just mad. What are your plans for the head of the sales department, though?" The colleague shook his head. "Don't bother asking me. I've been doing part-time work at blah blah lately, but honestly, I think Wang Ying in the sales department would be a great fit." "I see." The colleague glanced at his watch. "By the way, my car's still in the shop. Come pick me up later for the office, okay?" Lin Yi chuckled. "No problem. Blah blah chauffeur at your service." Later that day, Lin Yi completed his task, receiving some 5-star reviews and a nice reward. As he pulled up in front of the office, his colleague greeted him with a sly grin. "Don't forget to leave me a 5-star review, all right?" Lin Yi smirked. "You want a 5-star review, huh?" "Of course," the colleague replied enthusiastically. Lin Yi leaned in, lowering his voice mischievously. "All right, but you owe me those 9 squats for it." The colleague blinked in confusion. 9 squats? What are you— "Yep," Lin Yi said with a teasing grin. "None of them can be skipped." His colleague laughed awkwardly. "Perv." Just then, Miss Ji appeared, clearly catching some of their conversation. "Lin Yi, what's all this about?" Lin Yi quickly straightened up. "Oh, nothing, Miss Ji. Just a little fun. I'm just a blah-blah driver who happened to give Mr. Ji a ride." Miss Ji raised an eyebrow but smiled. "Well, it's almost time to head to work. Let's go up together, shall we?" Lin Yi nodded, offering a slight bow. "Of course, Miss Ji." As they walked together toward the building, Lin Yi received a notification on his phone. A 5-star review had been left for him. He glanced back at his colleague, who gave him a thumbs up with a grin. "That girl's got a sharp tongue," Lin Yi muttered under his breath. Amused at how the day had turned out, Lin Yi had just accepted another routine ride when his phone buzzed with a new request. "Tian Yi home?" he mumbled to himself. Not far away. He hit the button to take the order, and before long, his phone rang. "Hello? Are you the blah-blah driver?" a soft voice asked on the other end. "Yeah, that's me. How old are you?" she continued, sounding a bit more personal than usual. 24, Lin Yi replied, a little confused. "Great. Can you do me a favor?" The girl's tone suddenly shifted to one of urgency. "Pretend to be my boyfriend, okay? I'll give you a 5-star rating afterward." Lin Yi chuckled at the unusual request. "Sure, deal." Soon enough, he arrived at Tianyi home and saw the girl waiting. She looked him up and down, surprised. "This blah-blah driver actually looks this good? Better than the trainee little brother I had in mind?" Lin Yi gave her a friendly smile. "Xiao Yu, right?" "Yeah," she confirmed before motioning to the older woman next to her. "Mom, this is my boyfriend, Lin Yi." The woman, clearly skeptical, sized him up. "The young man looks quite spirited," she commented with raised eyebrows. "What do you do in your spare time?" Lin Yi, sticking to the script, answered, "I'm a blah-blah driver." Her expression shifted immediately. "A blah-blah driver." She looked at her daughter, appalled. Xiao Yu jumped in quickly, trying to smooth things over. "Mom, Dad, driving for blah blah is actually pretty profitable nowadays. And you know, I got all my jewelry from Lin Yi. He's even saving up to start his own business." The mom's face didn't soften. In fact, she looked even more horrified. "Entrepreneurship," she scoffed. Haven't you heard that 9 out of 10 businesses fail? Do you really want to be a widow so soon? Xiaoyu let out a nervous laugh, clearly embarrassed by her mom's reaction. Mom, Dad, aren't you going to that friend's party? Her father glanced at his watch. Well, it's about time. Perfect. I'll ask Linyi to drop me off at the mall on the way. You can call another car for yourselves, Xiaoyu suggested, eager to get away from the awkward situation. Linyi raised a hand, looking apologetic. Sorry, the car I'm driving today only seats 2 people. You'll have to get another ride. Xiaoyu's dad's face twisted in disbelief. Wait, could it be she found a motorcycle driver as a boyfriend? He glanced at his wife. If people hear about this, they'll laugh at us for the rest of our lives. Before he could continue, Xiaoyu jumped in, almost yelling, No, Dad! This isn't a motorcycle, it's a very expensive car. She shot a quick glance at Linyi. Linyi just smiled and gestured to his sleek ride. Yeah, it's mine. Hop in. Without another word, Xiaoyu hurried toward the car, pulling her parents along. Hurry up, don't keep Linyi waiting, she urged, slipping into the passenger seat. Her parents, still stunned, quickly called another ride as they watched Linyi drive off with their daughter, their disbelief lingering in the air. As Linyi drove, Xiaoyu leaned back in her seat, still buzzing with excitement from their recent encounter with her parents. Ah, good, she sighed, then turned to him with a playful grin. Which mall do you want to go to? Times Square, she answered quickly. But first, I need to stop at the bar there. Linyi smirked, keeping his focus on the road. This car is pretty awesome, right? He said, catching her admiration for the sleek vehicle. Totally. Xiaoyu's eyes sparkled. I'm a streamer, you know. Would you mind if I go live for a bit while we're driving? Linyi shrugged, amused by how things were turning out. Sure, go ahead. Just make sure to give me a 5-star review afterward. No problem, she said, pulling out her phone. In seconds, she was live, her chat lighting up with comments. Folks, guess where I am right now? She teased her audience, angling her phone toward Linyi and the car's luxurious interior. Messages poured in almost instantly. Xiaoyu, where are you? Who's that guy with you? Is this the passenger seat of a rich guy? One viewer asked. More comments scrolled by. No way, it's a Pagani. That's insane. The driver's so handsome, he's gotta be loaded. Another comment popped up teasing her. Anchor, did you hire this guy just to boost your views? Be honest, did you pay him or something else? Xiaoyu flushed, laughing nervously as she tried to clarify. Hey, don't talk nonsense. I'm not that kind of person. This is Linyi. He's a blah-blah driver, okay? The chat exploded with disbelief. No way a guy driving a Pagani is just a blah-blah driver. Xiaoyu rolled her eyes. If this handsome guy wanted to ask for more, let's just say I wouldn't be too comfortable, she joked, trying to keep the conversation light. Before long, they arrived at Times Square. Linyi pulled up to the curb, glancing at her. 5-star review, remember? Xiaoyu grinned as she wrapped up her live stream. Of course. Thanks, handsome. See you next time. As she hopped out of the car, Linyi's phone buzzed with a notification. Congratulations on completing the praise task. 200,000 points of proficiency value earned. Career completion, 35%. Reward, 1 Zhonghai International Circuit. Master driving skills. Linyi stared at the message, his mind racing. Zhonghai International Circuit, he muttered to himself. That's one of the best racetracks besides Abu Dhabi's circuit. His thoughts were interrupted when Xiaoyu leaned back into the window. Hey, are you familiar with the area? She asked casually. I need to change my phone, and you seem to know your way around. Linyi nodded, grinning. Yeah, I know a place. I'll take you there. Linyi strolled casually into Duckpear's phone store, glancing around as he and his friend approached the counter. Brother Yi, the store's just over there, his friend said. Can you help me load this phone with the maximum memory? Want to just buy it online? It'll be much cheaper, the friend suggested, trying to save him a few bucks. Linyi shook his head, smiling. There's no need. It's all right here. A store clerk greeted them warmly. Hello, sir. Here's your phone. Would you like to pick a case for it? After all, this one's over 10,000 yen. If you drop it, you don't want it getting scratched. Linyi chuckled, shaking his head again. I'm not really into cases. They're too restrictive. He paused for a moment, reconsidering. But you're right. It's a good idea. The clerk, sensing his hesitation, asked, Do you have a favorite design? Linyi smirked. I didn't say I wanted a case. Actually, I plan on buying a few more phones. If one gets damaged, I'll just swap it for a new one. He turned to the clerk and said nonchalantly, Give me 5 of each color, pack them up. The clerk blinked, startled. Sir, that's 20 phones. Are you sure? Yeah, and throw in one more MBC phone, pack them together. His friend whistled, eyes wide. Wow, that's some serious swagger. Lin Yi's phone buzzed as notifications from his social media live stream flooded in. Holy crap, he muttered. This stream's blowing up. 5 million views already. Showing off wealth really does work. The clerk finished packing the phones, still in awe. Anything else you want, Brother Yi? I think I need a watch, Lin Yi said thoughtfully. Meanwhile, behind the counter, a couple of sales assistants were whispering among themselves. Sister Lee, someone's coming in to buy a watch. I'll go handle it. Sister Lee, the senior clerk, rolled her eyes. What's the point? Just another wannabe showing off fake wealth. Do you see that woman over there live streaming? It's probably all for the views. Her colleague nodded. Yeah, but broadcasting these days actually pays well. True, but we're at Jiangshi Egton. Only the super rich can afford this stuff. Your average streamer's not going to pull that off. As Lin Yi approached the watch section, the assistant hesitated. Holy crap, she whispered. The world of the rich is beyond comprehension. The price of this watch is what most people would put down for a house. Lin Yi gestured toward a particular watch. Miss, can you take this one out for me? The assistant blinked, looking a bit uncomfortable. Sorry, sir. You can only see the watch after you've made the payment. Lin Yi's friend looked confused. Wait, what? How are people supposed to buy something they can't even see? Before Lin Yi could respond, a familiar voice called out, Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, it's been a while. How can I help you today? Lin Yi smirked, glancing at the watch. Look at this one. It's perfect. Think I'll take it as a birthday present? The clerk's eyes widened. You've got a great eye. That's the latest model this year. Lin Yi's grin widened. He always did have a taste for the best. And it was just another day in the life of someone who knew how to enjoy it. Lin Yi stood in the middle of the luxury store, arms crossed and eyebrows raised in mild disbelief. What do you mean? He asked, voice calm but laced with irritation. We're all customers, right? Shouldn't we be treated equally? The sales clerk shifted uncomfortably, avoiding his gaze. I'm sorry, sir. We provide services based on customer levels. I hope you understand. Lin Yi let out a dry laugh. So, you're basically saying you serve people based on how much money they look like they have. Typical. His friend nudged him, trying to keep the mood light. Brother Yi, these luxury stores are always snobbish. Don't let it get to you, the friend said, but Lin Yi wasn't backing down. Look at these 2 clowns, someone in the store sneered. They're lucky they were even let in. If this were Belfata, they'd have been kicked out already. Lin Yi glanced at his friend and shook his head. Forget it. Let's go. It's not worth buying anything from here. Just as they were about to leave, another sales associate hurried over, more polite than the first. Madam, sir, is there anything I can help you with? Lin Yi raised an eyebrow. I'm not familiar with this place. Why don't you introduce me to something special? The associate hesitated for a second. I'm not familiar with the models either, but I'll check the latest recommendations for you. After a few moments, she nodded. Everyone online is talking about the 175th anniversary model. It's quite popular. Lin Yi smirked. Let me guess, all the keyboard warriors are pushing this one. He wasn't impressed by internet chatter. His friend, sensing the tension, leaned in. Brother Yi, don't get worked up. I'll just kick these trolls out of the broadcast. He was live streaming the entire encounter. Lin Yi shook his head. No need. Let them watch. He turned back to the associate. Why don't you pull out the 175th anniversary watch for me? The clerk's eyes widened. You want to buy the 175th anniversary model? Lin Yi shrugged casually. Why not? Well, we can arrange that, but it's not in stock here. We'd need to transfer it from Europe. I'll personally deliver it to your home. Lin Yi's calm expression didn't falter. Even a store this big is out of stock? The clerk hurried to explain. There are only 6 pieces of this watch in the world, sir. China was allocated just 1, and it's already been sold. It's not in the country. Just then, whispers started spreading through the store. Did you hear? Someone's buying a watch for over 10 million yuan at this store. It must be the 175th anniversary model. A small crowd began to form, curious to see who was making such a luxurious purchase. When they spotted Lin Yi, jaws dropped. One of the rival store clerks rushed over, trying to salvage the situation. Sir, we have plenty of new models at our shop too. Why don't you come take a look? Lin Yi smiled, but there was no warmth in it. No need. A poor guy like me wouldn't be able to afford your level of service. With that, he turned to leave. Wait, sir, don't go. I was wrong, the clerk stammered, realizing too late how much commission had just slipped through their fingers. As they left the store, Lin Yi's friend grinned ear to ear. Thanks, Brother Yi. That was an amazing day. How can someone be this rich and still so cool? If only you were really my boyfriend, they joked, laughing as they headed toward their next destination. Later that day, they arrived at the Zhonghai International Circuit, where Lin Yi was greeted by a guard. Sorry, sir, we have a VIP reception today. The track's closed to the public. Lin Yi didn't even break stride. I'm not here to race. I'm here to see your manager. Let him know Lin Yi is here. The guard hesitated, then quickly nodded. Right away, sir. Just as the guard left, someone else appeared, looking annoyed. What's going on? Chin Han, the manager, muttered. Didn't we agree to clear out the track today? Why are there outsiders here? He had no idea what was coming his way. Sir Chin, I'm really sorry. The guard stammered nervously as he addressed Chin Han. This gentleman is here to see Manager Zhou. I'll take him there right away. Chin Han, the intimidating figure whose presence had cleared the entire racetrack, gave a brief nod but couldn't hide his annoyance. Let's go, the guard urged Lin Yi, hurrying him towards the second floor. Don't make Mr. Chin unhappy. As they made their way upstairs, whispers trailed behind them. Who is this guy? Someone muttered in awe. The whole racetrack's been closed for him? Another voice replied knowingly, You don't know. That's Chin Han, one of the most powerful men in Zhonghai. Not many dare to cross him. At the manager's office, Zhou Haitao looked both excited and anxious as Lin Yi arrived. You, Mr. Lin. Why didn't you call ahead? I could have arranged a convoy to greet you. Zhou waved a hand, barking orders. Zhao Zhao, pour some water for Mr. Lin. Lin Yi smirked but remained casual. No need for all that. Zhou's tone shifted slightly. Our general manager Lin, he began, addressing the team, our racetrack has been fully acquired by Mr. Lin. From now on, he's the boss. Lin Yi, always direct, waved off the formalities. I won't be micromanaging, just keep things running as usual. If there's anything you can't handle, then come to me. He gestured toward the track below. Now, why don't you show me around? As they walked, Zhou couldn't help but assume Lin Yi had a passion for cars. Mr. Lin, since you bought the place, I bet you love driving. How about running a couple of laps yourself? Lin Yi smiled. Sure, have someone bring my car around. Suddenly a loud voice cut through the air, full of anger. Fatty Joe, what's going on here? I booked this place and you dare bring outsiders in? Do you want to die? It was Chin Han storming toward them, clearly displeased. Zhou paled, stumbling over his words. Young Chin, it's not like that. You misunderstood? He quickly pointed at Lin Yi. This is Mr. Lin, the new owner of Zhonghai International Circuit. He's here to inspect his property. Chin Han's face shifted from anger to surprise. What? He hadn't expected this. A moment of tension hung in the air before he smirked, refusing to back down easily. Manager Zhou, I want to run a few laps. Clear the track. Before Zhou could respond, Lin Yi's calm voice interjected, There's no need for that. He locked eyes with Chin Han. How about you and I race? Winner gets the track for the day? Chin Han grinned. Forget it. You don't want to race me. They don't call me Chin, the car god, for nothing. I'll even give you a 10-second head start. Lin Yi didn't flinch. 2 laps? Let's see what you've got. Chin Han chuckled and looked at Lin Yi's car. That's your ride? His voice was full of mockery. If you think my car's too good, I can switch to something less intimidating. Lin Yi shrugged. It's not that expensive, but it'll hold its own. Chin Han laughed again. All right then. Don't say I didn't warn you. The race began. Chin Han, confident and cocky, took the lead. But it wasn't long before Lin Yi started closing in, his driving smooth and fearless. As they approached the first sharp turn, Chin Han slowed down, playing it safe. But Lin Yi didn't ease off the gas. Is Mr. Lin seriously taking the corner at high speed? One of the spectators gasped. Even professional racers don't attempt that. He's crazy, another muttered. A tiny mistake and he'll crash. But Lin Yi executed the turn perfectly, his car gliding through the curve like it was built for it. The crowd's disbelief quickly turned into admiration. By the second lap, it was clear who the better driver was. Lin Yi crossed the finish line with ease, leaving Chin Han in the dust. The stunned silence was quickly broken by cheers. Chin Han pulled up next to Lin Yi, laughing despite his loss. Idol, I admit defeat. You're incredible. Lin Yi simply smiled, stepping out of the car. Good race. Lin Yi's car screeched to a halt, and Chin Han, still catching his breath, stared at him in disbelief. Mr. Lin, your car's not even modified. How the hell did you take off faster than me? Lin Yi, ever the cool-headed one, gave a slight smirk. It's all in the start. You messed up your clutch timing. It needs to hit 4,000 revolutions per minute. The trick is to squeeze out the engine's power smoothly before shifting gears. Chin's eyes widened in admiration. Damn, I've seen a true master today. Can I add you on WeChat, man? I need to follow you, learn a thing or two. Lin Yi gave a casual nod. Sure. Turning to Zhou, Lin Yi said, I've got work. I'll come back to check the track another day. As he walked toward his car, he glanced back at Chin Han. Keep racing, Chin. Today's bill is on me. Chin grinned, his competitive spirit still alive. Cool, but what kind of job's got you running off so fast? Lin chuckled as he got into his car. I'm a blah-blah driver. Gotta take some orders. You guys enjoy the track? Later, at Yunshui Villa, Lin pulled up smoothly, and a voice called out, Sir, your car has arrived. You're quick, a woman replied from inside, clearly not expecting him just yet. Take your time, Lin responded calmly, settling in. He wasn't one to rush, but the scene around him always seemed to move fast. Okay, she muttered, flustered as she disappeared into the house. Come in and wait. Play some games, watch a movie, I'll be quick. Lin sat down at her computer, mindlessly checking emails when something caught his eye. He chuckled to himself. There's a new email here for you. Not business related. It says your 36E black lace underwear has been shipped. From the other room, a panicked voice shouted back, What? Before she could react, Lin called out again, amused. There's another email, something about... Suddenly she appeared at the door, flushed with embarrassment. Stop it, Lin. You're killing me. He just grinned, clearly enjoying her flustered state. You're fine. How do I look? She asked, trying to divert the attention, spinning in front of him in a chic new outfit. I'm heading to a reunion later. Lin, as usual, kept it cool. Looks great, he said with a grin, but his mind was already on the next thing. Another adventure waiting for him outside. Lin Yi outshines Chin Han on the racetrack, proving his unmatched driving skills, while balancing his mysterious side jobs and encounters with a touch of humor and class. Stay tuned for more adventures and surprises. Like and subscribe to catch the next part.